Hello, my name's Colette. I'd like to talk to you today about the Emperor card. Now, the Emperor's card 4, it's numbers 4, it is card 5 because the Fool's card 0, and it's his journey through meeting the archetypes. And today, the Fool meets the Emperor. Now, if you look at the Rider-Waite card, it's quite what we see in emperors when we think of emperors, isn't it? It's quite a solemn card, it's very angular, it's full of authority. He definitely looks as though you could feed him a little bit, and he definitely looks in charge. He has authority, he has a degree of control. Um, and I laugh because if you look at just about any of the films or TV shows that are on, there's always seems to be an emperor character. The archetypes in there. I'm watching Game of Thrones at the moment, and honestly, the archetype is there so much. And it's good to look at cultural things like that in your reading and in things that you watch on telly. Start to see the archetypes and identify them because they're all there. And I've written a book incorporating all the archetypes, and it was so much fun. But maybe because of that, even when I'm watching a film or watching a TV series, I see the archetypes in them. And one of the most common ones that we see is the Emperor. So, but for practical tarot, what does he mean? Well, let me put this down. The Emperor is also known as the Father in a lot of the newer decks. He basically has that energy of the divine masculine, the sense of the authority that comes with masculinity. So a lot of his keywords would be like assertiveness, sometimes aggressiveness, clear thought, straightforward, a sense of protection, protective qualities, decision making. He works with the sense of government, and as such, he can come out for governmental organisations in some of the practical decks. In fact, sometimes people who work with, say, the tax office or are in the armed forces or are politicians, this will be their card. So watch out for that because it's always good to have an insight into people's occupations or careers. He is everything good about the father energies and also everything negative about it. And a lot of people do have a problem with the Emperor card, particularly if they don't really like the masculine archetype of assertiveness, and if they don't deal with authority well. But if that's you, get over yourself. You're reading for yourself and for other people, and you need to see the breadth of this archetype. So, what would he mean if he came out in a practical tarot spread? Well, depending on the cards round about him, he could be bringing out the wonderful aspects of the trust that you can have in an authority figure who is also very fatherly, and that can be the head of an organisation that has nurtured its workers. It can be a very wonderful political figure, not necessarily a religious figure, that's more the high priest. But, a figure that maybe we would like. I mean, even in Scotland today, I would peg Nicola Sturgeon, our First Minister, as the Emperor rather than the Empress, although she has a lot of Empress qualities. But in government, she is definitely the Emperor, and you can see that in the things she does, in the assertive way she speaks, and even in the respect that she commands, even when she's doing maybe interviews. So that's the kind of energy that we're pulling out to do with the Emperor. In health, he can be quite robust. It can mean that a person's quite kind of solid and okay. But with negative cards round about, we can draw attention to the male areas of the testicles, the stomach, and also the spine. So you have to watch out for him if there's some negative health cards round about him. In career, he tells people to manage well, to be assertive, to be straightforward in their outlook, good with their choices, maybe a bit fatherly, but certainly not be taken in by anybody. The Emperor really has to be a force to be reckoned with. In love, sometimes it can come out a wee bit negative, particularly if there's kind of obsessive cards round about him, because it can mean that there's too much of a masculine energy, or there's an obsessiveness or a power struggle going on. But in a good way, it can also show that a relationship has a fantastic male partner, whether that's male gender or male soul gender, that is there to balance out the Empress. But I do see sometimes the Emperor coming out as a difficult or problematic card. In money, he's a sense of stable, solid, knows what he's doing, and as such, he's quite a good card to have out in a financial spread. And as I say, career is good too. He can allow people to access the energies that they maybe would have been scared of before, and he can indeed bring a leadership role to people as part of their career. But as I say, he also can be part of the armed forces, he can be governmental, he can be tax, he can be sort of fiscal. But generally, if you want to relate to him, this is a card where it really is important to look at the cards that are in the spread with him. Feel whether you're getting the negative or the positive from him, and then go forward with that. But generally, the Emperor as the father figure is seen as strong, assertive, benevolent, taking decisions not just for himself, but for his empire, and actually looking out for people with honour, because that's the way he's meant to do it. And again, then you watch all the different shows and you read all the books, and some of the emperors are just not like that at all. So I think sometimes the best way to look at certain cards is to identify them in popular culture when you're reading practical tarot. And believe me, the Emperor is an archetype that you'll see in so many places, positive and negative. So enjoy the Emperor. Many blessings. Bye now.